John Carl.
So let me clarify on that.
Okay.
Is lifting the arms embargo on Iran on the table in the final stages of these negotiations?
Well, John, what we know is that there are a number of UN Security Council resolutions related to Iran's nuclear program that are under discussion as part of essentially an exchange that would, this is the essence of the negotiations, that Iran would take steps to shut down every pathway they have to a nuclear weapon in response to relief that they could get from sanctions that have been applied to their nuclear program. And that's the essence of the negotiations that have been going on for more than a year and a half. It's those sanctions that have actually compelled Iran to participate in these conversations. And so that's the they're seeking.
I'm asking specifically about the arms embargo, which, as I understand, is separate from the sanctions that are imposed because of the nuclear program. Is the administration, is the president willing to see the lifting of the arms embargo on Iran?
Well,
would he go along with that under any circumstances?
John, I can't get into the details of the ongoing discussion.
The president would sign off on lifting the arms embargo on Iran?
What I'm suggesting is we've been very clear that the sanctions relief to which Iran could be entitled in the context of these negotiations would be those sanctions that have been applied to Iran's nuclear program. And there are a number of sanctions that have been applied to Iran because of their nuclear program and the possible weaponization of their nuclear program. And that's the essence of this whole negotiation, that applying those sanctions is what compelled them to the negotiating table in the first place. And that's what has isolated them from the international community. And ultimately, what we have sought is to get Iran to agree to demonstrate clearly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that their nuclear program exists solely for peaceful purposes, and that in exchange for that demonstration, they would receive sanctions relief.
Okay, but I'm asking specifically about the arms embargo. Let me come at a slightly different way.
Okay.
Iran has been on the official state-sponsored terrorism list since the 90s, since earlier, a long time. There's no plan to take Iran off the official state-sponsored terrorism list, is there?
Well, we have been clear that we have been very clear about the fact that the significant concerns we have with Iran's behavior will persist even after a agreement is reached, if one can be reached.
So there's no plan to take them off the state-sponsored terrorism list?
Well, we've been clear about exactly what is the essence of these ongoing negotiations, and that is the sanctions that have been applied to Iran's nuclear program at the United Nations in exchange for them shutting down every pathway they have to a nuclear weapon. That obviously is very different than a consideration about their inclusion on the state-sponsored terror list.
So that's why I'm asking about the arms embargo. I mean, how could you consider lifting a ban on sales of military equipment to and from Iran if you still consider them a state sponsor of terrorism?
Well, again, I'm not going to get into the essence of the negotiations, but we've tried to be as clear as we possibly can about this. That the kind of sanctions relief that is envisioned in this conversation are those sanctions that are applied to Iran's nuclear program.
Okay.